we've been helping families with these things over 30 years at this point. But of course, I will say I wasn't always an optimist focused on possibility. And so I'll share a little bit with you about my history and how I came to be doing a lot of this. So when I was a kid, I was that kid who was smart. I needed glasses. I wore braces. I was a nerdy kid. I got along with my teachers. My parents fought a lot. So for any number of reasons, when I was a kid, life didn't feel safe, or for lack of a better word. And I remember talking to my mom about really wanting to have a tighter friend group, have more friends. And I remember her telling me that if I wanted to have more friends, I should try hard to be more like them and less like myself. That was the underlying message there. And I also remember report card time. I was the one who brought home the report card, and it would be like a B plus. And so the first question was always, why wasn't it an A? And what did so-and-so get for a grade? I bet they got an A. And so there was this kind of constant comparison. Then in junior high and high school, I got into a group of super nerdy kids. We all hung around in the computer room. We were those computer geeks. And I remember my 16th birthday. My mom still loves to tell this story. My 16th birthday, it was this group of a dozen or so boys and me. And that was it, because they were my friends. So my birthday party, I just remember my mom being panicked about me in the family room with this group of boys. I couldn't explain to her. I didn't understand at the time that these were my brothers. These were the family that I was choosing. And while this group of friends felt safe, it just didn't feel quite right, because it was this group of boys and that wasn't me either. And so I just kind of always felt like an imposter because I was so busy trying to be like them. And people outside the group would ridicule me for being a tomboy. And then I try to be more feminine. And then I got ridiculed for that too. And typical junior high and high school stuff. But this was kind of how I experienced it. And I remember playing with my wardrobe and going through the neon phase in the 80s and all the crazy Madonna looks and wearing a bandana on my wrist and a big paper clip through my ear and things of that nature. And then somewhere along the way, my inner rebel kind of kicked in. And so if you know any of Marvel comics, this is Jessica Jones on the screen. And I liken my inner rebel to being very much like Jessica Jones. So super brash on the outside, courage for days, but really internally, kind of always fighting for the underdog and really having a soft center, even though externally it looked like she doesn't care about anything. And so that was kind of my inner rebel. And my inner rebel convinced me not to try so hard, it was just kind of okay to go with my gut and stop trying to be like other people and really starting to build the life that I was supposed to be living. And so you'll notice I put supposed to be living in air quotes, right? So there's your spoiler alert. But don't get me wrong, my inner rebel did a great job. It got me through MIT, got me through law school, helped me lead a team to build what is, by all measure, a successful law business. But still, during all of that, there was just something missing. And it just kind of felt a little soul-sucking because I was supposed to be happy because I built the life I was supposed to build, but I just wasn't. I felt very confused and very lost, and it wasn't there, and I didn't know why. And then life-changing events, things kind of really came to a head when my dad got sick, and he was diagnosed with leukemia. And there is nothing like the death of a parent to really get you to kind of stop and take stock. And so it was a dark time. It was a sad time, and it was long. It felt like it just kind of kept going on. It was long. And so I was desperate. I was scrambling and grabbing for anything and everything. And I joined a lot of work groups and networking groups and mastermind groups and super expensive coaching programs, anything to find sort of the solution to this angst that I was feeling. And so somewhere in that process, though, something changed. And I don't really know fully how to explain it, but in the way that I've been taking care of my dad during his illness, I started to realize I needed to do that for myself. That in and amongst all the continual driving and pushing and striving, and I had left behind nurturing and stillness. And I had ignored big, important parts of myself, all those sort of softer parts that didn't fit into this quote unquote badass picture of my inner rebel. And over time, I started to find this better balance. That's why I love this photo that I'm sharing with you. And I was able to appreciate everything that I had done and been in the past, all of those parts that I hadn't really understood, that didn't seem worthy of care or attention. Those kind of all started to come back together and really helped both myself and the business that is now Ingle Law really helped that evolve. Right. And it's all brought me to a place of being able to see the value of everything in life, right? Everything that has come before is what makes up today. Good times, bad times, they all make up today. And so whether today is good or bad, it's made possible by what came prior. And we might be going through something bad now because that's going to get us to the good thing that comes later. And so not only is that about life events, but that's also about people. It's about who we meet. It's about everyone that's crossed our paths. It's about everyone that we are connected to. We're all connected in this way. And I am still dedicated today to seeing the value of the good and the bad and the people and what have you. And equally seeing everybody is as worthy as everybody else. Everybody's path is as worthy as everybody else. No one is better than or less than anyone else. There is no hierarchy to the value of human life. We are all inherently worthy in that way. And so as an estate planning attorney and an elder law attorney, we like to show folks like yourselves ways to benefit from these foundational legal tools and legal protections that you may have always thought were for other people. And these are tools that are available for all of us. And we are all equally worthy of utilizing them as well. So that's one of the big messages that we like to bring to the folks that we talk to, and a message that I like to share when I teach.